These two teams do not disappoint. Toronto and Tampa again tonight. What a game. What a finish. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Ryan from Seaway Sports Lounge, and welcome to another episode of Leafs Timeout. In this episode, we're going to go over that wild game that just concluded a few hours ago in Toronto against the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm going to go over the scores. I'm going to go over what was done in terms of line changes, kind of what happened in general, obviously the game stats, and the takeaways with what I saw. So with that, let's just get right into it. So this game had a little bit of everything, very similar to the last game they played in Tampa. 6-5 win for the Maple Leafs in overtime. It's the second time they've played them. This time it was in Toronto. Just a wild game in general. And what I mean by wild is just the swings were unbelievable in terms of goal scoring, the types of play. It almost looked like multiple different games again, like last time. The actual outcome was almost like a script, almost identical between the two games. I'll explain to you a little bit what happened in the game stats. The Toronto Maple Leafs actually decided to make some major line changes and shifting around, which was expected, especially after the last few games they've had. And Sheldon Keefe actually decided that he promoted Matthew Knies to the top line. Now, I was expecting this to happen at some point this year because I feel Matthew Knies is a top six forward, and I think he would benefit better playing with Matthews and Marner. So that was what I thought in my general thoughts to people. But anyway, I guess they decided to do it, and it paid off in dividends tonight. They decided also to bring Domi to the third line center role and moved Camp down to the fourth line, which was a good move in general. Domi seems to be a good fit at center. So anyway, they did that. And they brought up Nick Robertson from the AHL. He's actually been playing very well for the Marlies. So they decided to bring him and promote him, and he was on the third line as well. So these are the moves they did, and they were just trying to spark offense, just trying to get the team going. They're just trying to get that secondary goal scoring. And also, just in general, the team needed to play better. So here we go. Here's the game stats. Here's what happened. It was 6-5 overtime. Now, according to TSN, the shots were fairly even, 33-31. Toronto had 3 power plays, did not score. Tampa had 2 power play goals. Penalty minutes were even. Hits were basically very close. Shot blocks were relatively similar. And Toronto had a lot more turnovers than Tampa. So first period, Matthew Knies actually opened the scoring from Marner and Matthews. A really nice goal. Ended up right in front of the net. He ended up putting it right past Johansson. Put him up 1-0. Crowd was going great. It was looking good. And then the wheels fell off for the entire first period. Just like the last game against Tampa, Samsonov or the team or both just could not stop the Tampa Bay Lightning. They got the team got 4 quick goals in fairly quick succession, 4-17, 6-11, 11-21, and 15-13. Kucherov again was dynamite in that first period. He was carrying over from his last game where he had 5 points against the Senators. Hedman, of course, but Kucherov, he was just playing well overall. He factored into 2 of the goals, and they had 2 power play goals in the first. So that put them up 4-1 after the first period. Fans were not happy, booed them off the ice. It was not a good scene. Samsonov actually got pulled during the first, just like the first game. He was livid. He threw his helmet right into the bench. He was just losing it. Understandable, just did not go his way. Some goals were not his fault, but other ones it went in. But either way, he felt enough's enough. Let's get him out. And much like last time, Joseph Wool came in relief. And then very quickly in the second period, 2:22 in, Austin Matthews got on the scoreboard, and he ended up putting a nice goal pass there, put it 4-2. And then at 5:42, he got another goal. And then all of a sudden, the game was just totally different. Toronto had more life. They were right in there. They were right up against the Tampa Bay Lightning. They were pushing them around a little bit. They were, getting openings that were not there before. Just like a completely different game. And then, of course, Toronto scored 2 more goals in the third period. So Toronto had a really good second, and then the third, they carried it over. Calle Jarnkrok, he got a goal. Mitch Marner got a goal. Matthew Knies was factored in there. We'll go over the points in a minute. But then at 17:34, just before the game ended, Brandon Hagel got his 7th of the year, and that put it at 5-5. And of course, we were hoping for another win in overtime, but we were waiting to see what would happen. And then Kalle Jarnkrok actually had right into overtime, 46 seconds. He ended up getting the goal. It was a really beautiful goal. It was nice from Nylander, passed over to Riley, and then ended up, and he just put it right by Johansson, and that was it. Game over. 6-5 win. You know what? You never say done in this league, especially in this day and age. Goal scoring can happen at any time, especially with this team whenever they get going. And tonight was no different. General points, Marner, another 4-point night. That's 8 points in 2 games for him. Austin Matthews had 2 goals. He had 3 points again this game, but 2 goals and assists. Matthew Knies, he was on the score sheet as well. 1 goal, 2 assists, so 3 points. So they had 10-point night, that line. That was fantastic. It was a great line change. Obviously, Keith's going to keep that going for a while. So let's hope they continue to build up and get those points and be a factor in the game. Jarnkrok got 2 goals. Riley got his 2 assists, and Brody and Domi got some assists, and Nylander was on there. So a much more spread out points, which is good. That's a start, which is what we're looking for. That's what fans are hoping for. And of course, Joseph Woll at 1 goal in, he had 18 saves, 947 save percentage. So he was a great goalie again tonight in relief of Samsonov. Poor Samsonov just did not have it at all. So I'm glad they pulled him. But that was basically the game in general. Very well. Didn't look good at first, but like I said, looked much better later on. So takeaways, quickly. Takeaways with what I saw. Well, as far as I'm concerned, there's a goalie crisis in Toronto, and not so much the Wolves, the crisis. Samsonov is the most expensive goalie they have, and he can't stop a puck. I don't know what they're going to do with him, whether they find him some help or take a few nights off and maybe go work with the goalie coach for a while. Maybe they have to carry 3 goalies, and if they can get Martin Jones up, maybe they might have to do that and have him in relief of Woll. So that way that would be their tandem while Samsonov gets it all together. I don't know what the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to do here, but they're going to have to do something because you can't put Samsonov in right now. He's just not good enough. He was just completely out of position sometimes, and he just couldn't stop anything tonight again against a really good team like Tampa. So and you got to do that. Now, granted, he had a really good performance against Boston, and that was encouraging, but it just didn't translate into the following game that he was available to start. So I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to have to do something. Make a decision on Sammy, figure out if he needs to sit for a few games and maybe work with the goalie coach. But we'll see. Second thing, line changes worked tonight. So Sheldon's ideas worked. Knies was dangerous all over the ice. He was on the score sheet. He looked dominant. He was physical. He was getting the pucks out of the corner. He looked like he belonged on that line. So that was great. Obviously, Matthews and Marner were very good. They were dominant. They got many more goals as well. Third line started to do really well once it settled. Once they had Robertson, Domi, and Jarnkrok going, they actually were pretty good out there. They got rolling after the few goals went in. They were starting to get shots on net. They were starting to make the goalie work really well. So they were moving their feet, which is another big thing. So maybe this will work out as well. But time will tell. Obviously, we have to see in the next game, which will be the Ottawa Senators, by the way. And secondary scoring at last. Finally, they're starting to get goals from other guys not in the core four. They need that badly. They need to continue to get that rolling. We need all 4 lines to roll, or at least 3 to start. We need goals from as many people as possible. It can't be done by all the core 4. It's just not right. And it's just not feasible. You can't do that forever. It's good to see those guys get goals and get into the assists and be in the play. Good news there. So Joseph Woll was a star in relief for the Leafs again against Tampa. He did this before. He did it again. And you know what? 18 saves made. Fantastic outing for him. He was rocked a little bit in his last game that he played, and it's just good that he bounced back and he did this. Clearly, I think he is the starter now, and there's no doubt. I mean, he came in, he played really well, and he's had better games than Samsonov. We'll have to see what they do with the goaltending, as I said before, but Wool was a great start tonight in relief. So very good news. So there you have it. That was the game. That was a wild finish. It was incredible to watch. Hopefully they can get out of this style and get more into a more consistent, like scoring first, then holding it. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see how they do with that. Leafs got the win. Great. If you like what we did with the video, please hit like or subscribe. If you like what we're doing and want to find out more about other videos coming up, please hit the notification bell in the channel. Please also keep an eye on Canadians Corners as Dan Lalone continues doing a great job on those videos and giving all Habs fans something to talk about and watch. And I will continue, of course, with Leafs Timeout and any other NHL news that breaks out in the next year, in the near future. So anyway, thanks very much. Have a good night. We'll talk soon.